Christian Academy, Greater Grace World Outreach. The church begins down there with their preschool, their Christian Academy, their fellowship center, and their gymnasium.
I'm going with Jesus. I'm going with Jesus. All the way. All the way. I'm going with Jesus. I'm going with Jesus. All the way. All the way. You can't stop me. You can't turn me. I'm going with Jesus. I'm going with Jesus. I'm going with Jesus. He is the way, the truth, and the life.
What makes it easier is we find out that He loves us. And He wants what is best for us. And He wants us to prosper. And He wants us to avoid calamity. So when you give the reason for the rule, it goes a lot towards building a relationship. There's a whole sermon there. And I was good at saying no. I learned from my dad and 14 boys, inner city, tough love. And then God gave me 3 little girls. And I've lost the ability. So when my daughter says, "Daddy, what do you want, honey? What's going on?" And we get to the library because we've got to get a book. We get there, she says, "Daddy, you've got to get a book too." I said, "I didn't read that in the letter." "Well, you said nobody could watch TV until we all did our reading. What goes for one goes for all." Now, did I mention I was Parent of the Year? If you say something, you've got to stick with it. You want your kids to trust you? Keep your word. My kids say all the time, "You don't trust me." You're right. Give me a reason. Tell me when you said no. Tell me what's going on. Tell me where you've been. Tell me what's going on. And we can build this. Trusting is, because I want to be able to trust you when you leave home, and I'm praying you will. Someday. But it's different, isn't it? Different. We need to do that. So my daughter, she's going off to get a book, and I said, "Well, all right, I'll find a book too." I start looking up and down the library for the skinniest book, thinnest book, right? I found it. It's the Book of Morals by Miley Cyrus. It's 2 pages longer than Britney Spears, but that's how it is. But see, I speak at a lot of pregnancy centers, and I speak at Christian schools and public schools on love, sex, and dating, and abstinence. I want kids to learn. I want them to understand. I ask kids who invented sex. Right? It is not somebody named Victoria who can't keep a secret, right? And I'm not going to go into the sex part of it today, but I do want to talk about dating, because kids need to know about dating and relationships. I tell boys all the time about my second date. I remember my second date because it was 6 years after my first. And I took a girl to the movies and I wanted to hold her hand. That's physical contact, right? Remember when that was a big deal, holding somebody's hand? And will she pull back or not? If I squeeze, will she squeeze back or run? What's going to happen? I'm at the movies looking at those 5 fingers thinking I'd like to hold her hand, but I couldn't do it. And not because I was a committed Christian, I wasn't. It's just when you're this skinny, it takes all you got to get that seat to stay down. I struggled for half the movie. I said, "I'm going for it." I reached him. I have a whole talk around it. I'm going to skip over. We're going to skip over some of that. I'm going to skip it. We got about 10 minutes left. You guys all right? 10 minutes? 10 minutes? You guys are good. Yeah, great. Yeah, I know some of you need your meds. I can see that right now. We'll get you home. I usually do jokes about each of my kids, but let's hop in. My son, when he graduated high school, and this is now 4 years ago. Oh my goodness, 4 years ago. He said, "Dad, the basketball team's going to chip in to go to the prom. We're going to chip in and rent a limo." I said, "Where's the prom?" "It's at the country club at the end of our street." $250 to go 6 blocks? My first and only date in high school was my prom. We did not go to a country club. Where did we go, parents? The high school gym, right? Dinner was in the locker room, remember? You spent a week decorating. That was part of the fun. I asked the Amish if they rent limos for the prom. They don't. No, there is no stretch buggy. There's no... But I said to my son, I said, I went to my prom. It was my only date in high school, but I didn't go in a limo. I went in a Volkswagen Bug with 6 other couples. Kids don't know what a Bug is anymore. Volkswagen Beetle, right? That little car. Remember the advertisement? Well, 1971, we got a Volkswagen Bug. We became a 2-car family. That was big stuff. The billboard said, still under $2,000. And the other reason to buy it, there was a picture of a bug floating in a swimming pool. And it said, it floats. Because that's a reason to buy a car right there. That was a